This video is sponsored by Ren.
Greetings guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video in temporary location number 1. We are back here with the terrible natural lighting. We're almost done though. I leave for New Zealand in 3 days. So you've only got a few more videos left here. Anyway, hi, hello, it's me, Kiwi. Welcome back. I've already said that. I'm just gonna tell you what we're doing today. I was doing my regular looking for posts for an Other Straights Okay video when I came across this one post that led me to a whole account of just, oh my god, please stop talking. I actually think I've already done a video on this account like a year and a half ago, but I completely forgot they existed. And so I'm back here to talk about them again. And that is the patriarchal feminist. And it's just a woman saying a bunch of sexist stuff. So that's what we're going to look at today because we need to talk about it. Blackface and drag. The hypocrisy. One is seen as terribly offensive and disgusting. The other one is celebrated, put on TV, invited to read to children. If you dare to say anything against drag queens, you are seen as disgusting instead. What has more weight in society? Your skin color or your sex and your ability to keep the human race alive? They try to pervert what it means to be a woman by essentially making themselves look like clowns. Feminists complain about the oppression placed upon us by men. Well, there you go. Here's a man ridiculing the entire concept of womanhood. You must surely understand the difference here. You must surely understand the difference here. Blackface exists to make fun of black people. Like it exists as a form of racism and a way to continue oppressing black people. Like the sole purpose of it is to laugh at them and stereotype them and put them down and make fun of them for being black. That's the purpose of that. That's fucked up. That's wrong. Drag queens exist as a form of self-expression and a form of defying gender roles and breaking down gender constructs because gender is like a made-up thing. I don't know what to tell you. One is like performance for empowerment and self-expression, and one is mocking people for their race and insulting them and furthering their oppression. Like, that is not the same thing. You must know that that's not the same thing. Women who dress slutty wonder why their relationships don't work out. They claim they can't find a decent man, but they surround themselves with betas who seek women that have no self-respect. They will end up unmarried and regretting their life choices. If you don't respect yourself, dress provocatively, and sleep around, you can't be surprised when men don't respect you either. Cover up, surround yourself with good men, and learn how to be a woman. Then you'll find someone who will take care of you and respect and love you. Now, I classify a good man as someone who accepts me for who I am and how I choose to express myself without objectifying me and taking me down to my appearance and my gender and the way I choose to express myself. I define a good man by someone who respects women and lets them have the emotional freedom and freedom of choice to like exist as however they want to. That's what a good man is. If someone is going to disrespect me and objectify me based on what I'm wearing, I don't really want anything to do with them. That's not a good man. Just point blank, period. End of story. I can't find a partner because I disrespect myself. No, I can't find a partner. What just happened to the light? Why did it just get really dark? Hello? What just happened? I can't find a partner because I disrespect myself and dress provocatively. I don't want a partner who won't let me wear what I want because that's disrespecting me. I respect myself enough to not date someone who doesn't accept me for who I am and who wants to control me. I would rather be alone than be with someone like that. Believe it or not, relationships and marriage isn't the end all and be all. It might be to you, but I don't know why you, like, people, these women always put out there, they're like, you're nothing, you'll never find a man. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I genuinely do not care. Like, some people don't care. Especially, like, you know, gay women don't care if I find a man. Don't particularly care if I have a partner at all. At this point, I'm fine. But, like, not everyone wants a man. Not everyone cares. Not everyone craves to be in a relationship. Like, defining that as, like, that's how I define myself is just incorrect. That might be how you define yourself. But a lot of us don't. So this whole preaching thing of, like, you have to change yourself or else you'll never find a man. Like, I don't care. Just don't care. The patriarchy offers protection to females, while every matriarchy in history only had destruction to offer. I don't know. I don't know of many, if any, matriarchies off of the top of my head. But I can tell you that the patriarchy does not offer protection to women. We live under the patriarchy, and don't know if you know this, but a lot of women get abused and assaulted. A lot of women in places still don't have the right to vote. It is still legal to like stone your daughters for doing things that you don't agree with. You can get away with assaulting women. You can do physical harm to women and people look away. There is lack of equal opportunity. There is a pay gap. There's a whole bunch that's against women. That's literally the point of feminism and what we've been saying. But also as far as like societal destruction and stuff, wars men are responsible for. All the current ones, majority of previous ones, all due to men. And then another really big issue that we're having at the moment is the climate crisis, right? A majority of political leaders and CEOs are men, and they are also the core reason that we are having the climate crisis. And I'm gonna say that's pretty destructive, you know, the fact that everything and everyone is fucking dying. It's a big problem. And that, the core of it, is men. I'm gonna call that pretty destructive. We're all aware that that is the core issue with climate change, major corporations and politics, and the upper class and massive consumers. That is the core issue of the problem. And I know that it's really easy to feel hopeless in the decisions that you are making and what you're doing with your actions. It can feel really hopeless when you see what everyone else is doing and when you know that you yourself are not contributing hugely to the problem. But I am a big believer in doing what you can, because every small bit does add up. It does matter. It does make some sort of difference if we're all trying our best. And that is where today's sponsor, Ren, comes into play. Ren calculates your personal carbon footprint and then gives you a means to offset it. So basically it'll tell you the amount of carbon that you produce as a person per year, and then it'll give you like a monthly subscription that you can sign up for, and you pay a certain amount of money every month, and they will put that money towards something that will offset your carbon footprint. So they do things like the fight against deforestation and replanting trees, as well as my favorite one, which is donating clean cookers to refugees, which allows them to cook outside without a ton of smoke, damaging not only the environment, but also themselves and their lungs. And being able to donate monthly to these sorts of things is a really good way to make a difference, not only to, you know, climate change, but also to like actual people's lives firsthand. When you sign up, you will get emails every month about where your money is going. They're constantly working on adding more organizations and things to their subscription base, so your money will go into more places in the future, and you can read up on what all of them are, which is really cool. It's really cool to know where your money is going, and how you're offsetting your carbon footprint. We all have different time and resources available to us, and everything we do does make some sort of difference. So whether you're out there protesting, or you're trying to use as little plastic as possible, if you're vegan, all those sorts of things, every little thing helps a little bit. Protesting is a really, really important thing to be doing, but not everybody has the time to do that. And Ren is a really good way where if you have the means and you have the money to be able to do that, but you don't have the time to be able to protest and things like that, it's a really, really good way to help. Obviously, it's best if you can do both, but not everyone is able to do both. Some people can do one and not the other, and that's totally fine. But if this is something you are interested in, I would highly recommend doing it if you are able to. So if you would like to offset your carbon footprint and you have the means to do so, then use the link in my description, and if you are one of the first 100 people to use my link, you will get a tree planted in your name, which is pretty cool. So yeah, if you are able to and that's something that you would like to do, then check that out. You're only a strong, independent woman because you're afraid of being vulnerable and getting rejected. No, that's just not true at all. I am a strong, independent woman because I don't really like being told what to do, and I don't feel as though I have to be told what to do. I kind of like doing what I want to do and, being happy and not feeling like someone's property. That's kind of just a thing I like. I like having the freedom to do what I want. I'm not scared of being vulnerable or anything. That's not true at all. Feminists claim to fight for women's rights, yet at the same time they want to restrict gun rights, causing women to not be able to defend themselves against rapists. Jesus Christ? I don't think the solution to anything is to just shoot people. That's not great. And also, when you're in a situation like that, I think something that people don't understand is, one, if this is like an attack on the street or in a bar or anything like that, you're not gonna have the time to reach for your gun to get your gun. I don't really know how guns work, but that's what the comments seem to say. You're not gonna have time to be able to have that and use it. And also, a lot of the time, most of the time, sexual assault and rape happens from someone that you know, a friend or a family member. And I think a lot of women are going to really struggle to shoot that person. That's not really what people tend to want to do. Killing someone, killing someone or shooting someone, that's a really difficult thing to do. And I don't think it's the solution. I think instead we should probably be teaching people to not rape people. And a way to do that is actually taking women seriously and giving people harsher sentences when they commit those crimes, because at the moment it's unacceptably little. And so no one learns their lesson. Everyone thinks they can get away with it because they can. Everyone's like, people already know not to do that. Teaching them is not going to help. Yeah, they know they're not meant to, but the problem is when there's no consequences, people are going to do it anyway. So actually enforce the rules and give people consequences, and maybe then the message will get across. I also forgot to mention a very important fact of women go to prison for defending themselves against abusive men all the time. Shooting a man who may potentially assault you is not going to go well for you. Shooting a man who has assaulted you, also not going to go well. Considering women who kill people who have trafficked them or abused them for years and years, they get punished. I don't think this one's gonna work, you're not helping anyone. You're just, sure, you maybe stopped an assault, but then you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. So not the best. Instead, let's focus on punishing men and actually giving people consequences and teaching men to not assault people. That's probably a better option, right? Feminism has resulted in an empty household where both mother and father work and the children are raised by private or public institutions. It is disgraceful that we have delegated parenting to others. Bro, the school system has been around since the year 600. It's not a new system. I don't know where this idea comes from that women are giving away their children now to the public schools. They're letting other people raise their children when they should be teaching them themselves. This is not a new thing. When you talk about being a traditional wife, you're often referring to the 1800s for some reason. They went to school then, man. School has existed for a really fucking long time. This is not a new thing. I don't know where this idea came from. I've seen so many traditional wives saying this shit recently. What? That makes no sense. What are you implying? You want to teach your kids yourself? That's not a thing that many people do. If they have access to school, they tend to send their kids to school. That's kind of always been the way it's gone. Feminists talk about toxic masculinity, yet never mention toxic femininity. Jealousy, talking behind each other's backs, manipulative, putting other women down. Now, here's the thing. One, we do talk about that. We do say that that's a problem. We always talk about women supporting women, not manipulating people, how women can abuse men and they really shouldn't do that, how we need to trust each other, have communication. That's what my entire channel is built off of. But also, that's not femininity. That's not what femininity is. You constantly preach about how women have to be more feminine, and you've never once said that women have to be more of these things. When we talk about toxic masculinity, we're talking about the fact that men shouldn't feel like they have to fit a certain set of criteria in order to be a man. It's that thing of thinking you're not allowed to show emotions and being aggressive and thinking that you're better than women. That's all toxic masculinity. That's what men are told they have to do in order to be men, and then they try to fit that criteria, and it's toxic. That's a problem. Toxic femininity would be more like, you can't really be toxically feminine because you're not using it in a way that hurts other people. It's only hurting yourself. You know, like toxic masculinity hurts not only themselves, but other people by trying to fit into the box of being what a man is. Toxic femininity would be women forcing themselves into submission and keeping all of their emotions inside in fear of like upsetting their husband. Things like that I would class as possibly toxic femininity, but that's not hurting anyone other than themselves, which is a problem. Obviously, if we're going to be talking about that, that's how we're going to, that's what we would actually be talking about. Ladies, if he is a natural leader and you find it easy to respect him, doesn't give you mixed signals, wants to take care of you and provide, wants to be a father, then he is the one. I don't know about you, but I actually have more criteria than that. This is like very, very like, there are very little criteria here. This bar is very, very low. We need to stop having our bar like on the ground because it's allowing men to keep being like base level shit, you know? We need to increase our standards. Don't settle for anything less than you deserve. This goes for everyone. I don't care what gender you are. Like, have higher expectations and only accept the best. It doesn't matter if you're lonely. It doesn't matter if you don't have a partner. It is better to only have yourself and your friends than it is to have someone who is not worthy of you. End of story. We need to end this whole idea of like, you need to be in a relationship to be happy. No, the fuck you don't. No, you don't. That's some bullshit. You don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. The sooner you realize that, the better. Being in a relationship is great. It's fine, but it shouldn't be the end all be all, you know? A strong traditional woman is a threat to the socialist agenda, which is why the feminist goal is to erase true femininity. That's just not true. We actually encourage femininity. People being against femininity is also being against women. That is also misogynistic in itself because it is okay to be extremely femme and it is also okay to be very masculine. It's okay to be anywhere. The point is that you don't have to be just one thing. The point is that it is a spectrum and you can do some things that are typically masculine and some things that are typically feminine, or you can be extremely feminine or extremely masculine or anywhere in between. And that is okay. And it doesn't matter if you are a man or a woman or non-binary or anything. You can do what you want and act how you want. And it is awful of us to be anti-feminine things. It's something that you see a lot is that people are against like hyper-feminine things. And that's terrible. A lot of women are against hyper-feminine things. I've seen that firsthand and it's awful and we shouldn't be because there is something powerful in owning your femininity and being extremely hyper-feminine. There is nothing wrong with that. You aren't any less strong by being hyper-feminine. And we should encourage hyper-femininity. But like not as a like you have to be hyper-feminine, but as a like being hyper-feminine is great. It's amazing. If that makes you happy, then do that. It's brilliant and I admire you in the same way that we do it for anything else. And I absolutely agree. We should be encouraging people to just be themselves and not making that a matter of being strong or weak or falling into like whatever box. If that's how you want to be and that's how you feel, then be that. Absolutely. No one is trying to, we're not trying to erase that. True feminism is not trying to erase that. It's allowing people to choose to do that or anything else that they want to. Anyway, with all of that being said, I am going to end the video here. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Fruit and Kiwi Bad channel members whose names are up on the screen right now. And a massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. With an extra special thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons. Array, Rosa, Talusk, Bobby, Sparrow, Josh, Mandy, and Robbie. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for becoming patrons. I appreciate it. I said that already. I said it again. If you would like to become a patron, there's a whole bunch of tiers with a whole bunch of different things, which include like getting my videos early, outtakes, behind the scenes stuff, a bunch of stuff. So if that sounds good to you, go check that out at patreon.com/savvycat. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TheQueerKiwi, and Twitter, ThatQueerKiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.